Snowsport instructors around the world all have one thing in common: the need to share their passion of the sport. And not only with those who are just learning, but also with their fellow instructors. This passion aimlessly pushes us to find our boundaries, break past them, and progress. Out of this comes the development of iTrain Snowsports, a revolutionary training program that is changing the face of snow sports schools around the country.
In 2011, we decided that there was a need and a market for software that would help manage and facilitate training in snow sports schools in North America. So we started to interview a whole bunch of different directors, managers, trainers, top instructors, and really came up with a set of requirements for a program that would fulfill the needs of these diverse organizations.
One of the things that's been consistent throughout my 20 years of teaching skiing is the desire to train and get better. It's super important to our staff and to our staff's development and to our staff retention that people are able to go out and work on their motivation. When I interview people, they're always telling me that they want to get better at skiing and that they think that teaching skiing is going to help them to that path. So we go out and we spend a lot of time and energy putting people out in front of clinicians, working on their skiing, working on their teaching, working on their understanding of the sport so that they can go out and make the tool work better on the snow.
Yeah, you know, our employee base comes from around the country. It's not, we don't draw from one specific city because there are no specific cities around Telluride. So, you know, it's something that we draw from across the country, and a lot of times we'll get new hires that are fresh to ski instructing, and that takes a lot of effort.
Yeah, the challenge is really to give them a leg up so that they can be successful right away at the beginning of their career, and really give them the sense that it is a career and that they're part of something special, and that it's not just a year or two, in a gap between high school and college, but it's really a potential career, and this is a great place to have it.
It's a win for everyone when you have a well-trained ski instructor out in front of the guest, giving them the experience that they ultimately took their vacation time to enjoy.
We've been trying to patch together certain scheduling things through our normal resort software, and that stuff's just not really built for that. So it turns into a bunch of stuff written on the wall on calendars, or things that we put in people's schedules, and it's just really difficult to make sure messages are getting out and people get all the information. And when I saw iTrain, I don't even think we're using it all yet, but the idea that we can put all of the training and scheduling in one place that instructors can get real time seemed like a good idea.
You know, training them up, new hire training, we go through over 50 hours of paid training and then get into quite a bit more elective training, and to coordinate all of that, through Excel sheets or, using a third-party software that doesn't function very well and isn't built to manage our training is really difficult. So switching to the iTrain system has helped tremendously in that regard.
So one of the advantages of iTrain is it allows us to collect a lot of data to make intelligent decisions around where our primary opportunities for improvement are as an organization.
One of the things that we've discovered is that just presenting the training to them is an important aspect of it. Whether you use a wall and you have people signing up on that, or you have software like iTrain that we use to get the word out to people that this is the training we've got. That's the biggest thing that we've gained from this, is that we can show everybody an entire listen event and a calendar and then a process, and we're developing that side of it so that we're getting even more influx into their training schedule. We can ask them questions about their goals and objectives, and then they can follow up on their training to know how it's going. For a trainer like me we've got 50 or 60 different trainers in the school, to start to see a diary of development in people, I can then use that to say, okay, I'm going to build on that. I'm going to build on what Connor did earlier today. And then that way, their progress happens in bigger leaps and jumps. Instead of it just being one clinic, it's actually a training plan. And that's a big deal. So we've really enjoyed that. You guys ought to take a look at it.
So as an evaluation, we do skills analysis here at Winter Park. So for every instructor skiing and riding skill and their teaching. We have a whole program around that, similar to like you'd have at a PSIA or AASI exam. And that eval tool, we can take all the data from the performances of all these instructors in our 4 different pay categories, and we're able to ascertain how the training's working and how the skill development's going by pay grade, by skill of instructor.
Our part-timers can't participate in daily training that's offered, and then at the same time we have a couple hundred instructors who are full-time pros who are working towards their certification, and they have different needs. These 2 different groups have different needs, and iTrain's really helped us with reaching both those groups and meeting their specific training needs.
And we definitely use iTrain to help us get the word out and to track our training, get information back about what that training was like for our instructors, and also to be able to put information out from our trainers to the instructors so they know what's coming and have resources to go to.
But it's really easy to use. It's got people like me in mind. I go to take clinic attendance, and if somebody's not registered, I can do it right on my phone on the lift, and it'll autofill. I start to type in their name, it autofills. I can select from all the Andys, the Joes, the Susies, whoever, and that's just one example of how well the system works.
Yeah, it's really been a tremendously useful tool because it's increased participation because it's increased awareness of the availability of training options. And it's also made it much easier for us to track the training that's happened and really have a record of who is taking advantage of the opportunity to train.
Surveys, what we did at the start of the season that was really cool is we used the surveying portion of iTrain to really check for understanding of our instructors during their orientation. So we used the survey with some multiple choice questions to make sure that they got the information that we are presenting during orientation, and also then afterwards, we've been getting feedback on our trainers and who's connecting with our instructors, who's not, who talks too much, who really makes that connection. So it's been really valuable to get that kind of on an ongoing basis so we can really train our trainers.
I actually like it so much that I spend the entire winter with iTrain as my home page on my smartphone.
iTrain has doubled or tripled our participation in training, and that was a surprise to me. I thought it would increase, but everybody's into it. It's easy.
On the flip side is that it helps me go to management and get more money for training when I can really tie the results of, hey, we dedicate this amount of money to training, here's what we got out of it.
One of the reasons that we use this iTrain software, because it gives us a good exposure and a good presentation of our training. One of the hardest parts is telling your staff what you've got going in a way that gets it right on there. They've got their phone in their pocket, they can find out what's going on, figure out what they need to do, let people know how it went.
You can almost look at iTrain and the feedback that the instructors are getting about their certification training. You can almost look at that and know who's going to pass the certification that they're going for and who needs some extra time on it.
I think with the help of iTrain and the way it was able to connect our trainers with our staff, our pass rate was close to 80% for level 2 and 3 events that we went to.
And it's really impressive to the senior team when they can see a direct correlation between the dollars spent and the product that was given out on the hill in the training clinics.
iTrain Snowsports is developed, operated, and owned by Snowpoint Systems, a company dedicated to supporting ski areas with innovative technologies. We understand what it takes to empower instructors and teach great lessons. If you're ready to push your instructor's boundaries and exceed every guest's expectation, then we invite you to demo the amazing set of tools that is iTrain Snowsports.